Why is it important to maintain a work-life balance? We are going to hit that. When we can live life on our terms, on a holistic level, taking into account not just our business lives, but also our health, all of our relationships, from friends, family, to our partners, the world changes. All right, so if you're wondering, hey, help me understand this. Why everybody's all this talk about work-life balance? Well, I think work-life balance is very, very challenging to achieve, but I think a healthy work-life integration is possible, which is basically a healthy work-life balance. And the reality is that when you live a very integrated, healthy, intentional life, you're going to see benefits in 4 primary areas. The first is going to be in your business, and I'll explain exactly why. The second is going to be in your health. The third will be in your relationships. And lastly, it's going to be an interesting way, but it's the whole you. So when we talk about business, I coach CEOs literally around the world, public CEOs, big folks. And they will tell you, because I've talked with from the very beginning, this is one of the cornerstones of things that I work with, that one of the most biggest competitive advantage for a lot of these fellas, a lot of these people, is when they're living a healthy work-life balance, when they have that well, when they're well rested, when things are good at home, when they're fit and they're feeling healthy, they actually become the very, very best CEO, the very best senior leaders they can be. And as a result, they end up being very, very clear-minded, and they make the best possible decisions they could make. Now, don't get me wrong. I started my first of 16 companies when I was 19. I understand what it's like. And sometimes, yeah, you got to suck it up, and you're going to be way out of whack and balance. You may put in those 100-hour work weeks. But if you do that all the time, you are going to burn out. There is no question. You have to remember that as the senior leader, you are the primary asset of the organization. And as a result, you have to protect the asset. Because let's be honest, if you've got a mess going on at home with a spouse or with kids, the likelihood of you bringing that to work is probably pretty decent. Just as if you've got a nightmare going on at work and all you're doing is working and you end up in that reactive spin cycle that's just a shit show, you're gonna end up taking that home. That's gonna have challenges there. Now, sometimes it's gonna be out of balance. I get it, but how can you make sure that you're creating that awareness and having that healthy integration? So that's the first place, is around business. When we're physically healthy, when we have good relationships with outside of work, and when we are feeling solid with who we are and how we're looking at things, our health is good, we're gonna do better. Now, I've argued with people with this, but I guarantee I have seen this over and over and over and over again. The stronger you are as a whole person, the better you're gonna be there. Okay, the second is your health. Now, if you're the kind of person that's like, yeah, I'm crushing it financially. I'm, making $3 million a year, the bottom line, I only fly private, it's all great, but you can only sleep with a handful of Xanax at night, or you're way overweight and you're on the diabetes train. How healthy, how successful really are you? So you may be experiencing some short-term financial success, but the long-term financial success and the long-term positivity you'd feel with the business is going to go downhill. So this is where making sure that you take care of your mental health, your spiritual health, whatever that may be for you, and your physical health, those 3 things are super, super important. Now, I used to kick that stuff to the curb all day long. Used to be 100 pounds heavier, didn't care about any of that shit, as long as I was driving, making money, and putting the business. But if I'm honest, the business suffered. Family definitely suffered. I suffered as a result because I wasn't being the best me I could be. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's really important. Sometimes the highest and best use of your day may be for you to start your day by going for a walk without your goddamn cell phone for an hour in the morning. Not listening to anything, not doing anything, just getting your head on straight, thinking about how fortunate you are and how grateful you are for the day, and what are the primary things you need to do. Get a little exercise in, put your head in the right space, make sure that you're sleeping in the right ways. All those things really, really impact it. And again, it's gonna drive better business, but it's also gonna drive your health in a better way. Now, the third one is going to be relationships. And this is where, obviously, Work-life balance, particularly for business owners or high-stress people, is a challenge. But I can guarantee there are very few successful business people, and I've worked literally with billionaires that say on their deathbed, God, I wish I'd made more money and wasn't as good at dad. Nobody gives. No, how can you be the best you? Think about those relationships. Now, it's going to be your version of what that is, and I'm not saying you have to change everything, but if it's important to you for your spousal relationship, your partner, then how can you make sure you put the intentionality in that? So often we don't put any intentionality in those things, or very little. It's not until we get called out or things turn into a shit show. And then when that happens, well, that hurts our business, it hurts our health, it hurts our mental peace, all the way around the board. So again, putting that intentionality there can help. And here's a little secret on this. One of the best things, the greatest gift we can give anyone, including ourselves, is the gift of being present. So I have one CEO I worked with, he had younger kids, and I was trying to talk to him about how important this was. And he's like, dude, it's not that important. I'm listening, I can hear him, it's not a big deal. Well, within a couple of days, he came home on time, was gonna have dinner with the family. He was sitting there and he was playing, Barbie Fun Time with his daughter, but he's exercising his thumb, scrolling. And his daughter called him out and said, Daddy, why don't you just go away? And you're like, well, why is that? He goes, well, you like your phone better than me. Because he wasn't being present. And here, out of the mouths of babes, man, it's awesome. So now he comes home and he actually puts his phone in a drawer. Doesn't mean he doesn't look at it throughout the night if he needs to, if he's got stuff going on. But then he'll go, and when he plays with his kids, it may only be for a quarter of the time, but he's really present and engaged. Same thing with your spouse, same thing with your friends, same thing for yourself. If you're screw around with great abandon. All right, now then the last thing is gonna be the whole you. And this is one of those things that's kind of, I don't know, sounds a little on the hippie voodoo side, but it's my belief that when you address yourself as the whole person, everything expands. And I've seen this over and over and over. So you may say, all right, Kluver, I don't understand what's this whole person thing. If you like, you can go to our website, lifeon-yourterms.com. About halfway down, doesn't cost anything, there's a tool called the balance wheel. It takes less than 10 minutes, go through, and it'll give you immediate results, and it'll help you with an assessment to help you define where are you today. What does that look like? Are you looking in balance or are you way out of balance? And I would encourage that if you see some areas that are like way off, okay, fair enough. Acknowledge the places you're strong, but in those areas, those opportunities you have for growth, think of one or two small things you can do to make it a little bit better right away. So if it happens to be time, or maybe I just don't feel like I'm spending enough time sleeping. Okay, well, maybe it's as simple as putting your phone in the other room. Maybe it's saying gratitudes when you go to sleep and going for that walk in the morning. It doesn't have to be big, and we know the right things to do, but it's putting that intentionality into a holistic, balanced life that's gonna help us. Because when we do that well, that's what really makes it important. It's those pieces that come together and that's why it's important to have a balanced, well-meaning life. So ideally, hopefully you found some value in this. If you're interested, we've got courses online and a bunch of other stuff, coaches that are available, certifications. But ideally you found some value. Please subscribe to the channel, check out some other stuff, the other links. If you have any questions, please reach out. Love to hear from you. Keep smiling.